Recording in progress.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
Great. Could you give us your name and your number for the record, please?
Thomas Sparks, 269-827.
All right, Mr. Sparks. My name is Mr. James. My colleagues on the screen there are Mr. Deglow and Ms. Lathan, and the three of us are going to be conducting your parole eligibility hearing today.
Okay.
Looks like you've been before parole board before. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you have a pretty good idea of how the proceedings will flow?
Yep.
Okay. So I'm going to start out by reading your record card, right? First off, then we'll get into the rest of it. You are Thomas Sparks. Your number is 269-827. You are currently your custody status is maximum at Eastern Kentucky Correctional Complex. Your parole eligibility date is 4/25. Sir, your mental health is level 3. And you are serving a 30-year sentence, sir.
A what?
I'm sorry, 20-year sentence. Sorry, 10-year sentence. I'm sorry, sir.
Yeah,
10 years.
10.
Turn my screen this way here. Okay. For trafficking in a controlled substance, first meth, less than 2 grams,
Yep.
Possession of a firearm and a firearm enhancement with that charge. Drug paraphernalia by possess, first, misdemeanor. Possession of a firearm and a firearm enhancement with that charge also. Possession of a handgun by convicted felon. And possession of a controlled substance, first, methamphetamine. You served 3 years and 8 months. You have 3 years and 3 years remaining. You have a loss of 200 days of restorable good time. Looks like you got out on April 23 of 22, and you came back to us April 26. So you weren't out very long, 7 days for an escape.
Yeah. That escape charge has actually been dismissed.
Okay, let me finish up here, sir.
Okay.
You have a detainer out of Madison County for an escape. It's still on that's still on there.
Yeah, it's been dismissed. I guess they just haven't figured it out like in the computers yet.
Okay.
My mom called the Madison County Court District just the other day, and they said that case has been dismissed.
For purposes of this hearing, sir, this is what we have available to us.
Yeah, I understand.
So if you, I would recommend you, I guess, do a follow-up with your attorneys or your caseworker there.
Yeah.
To help you with that. But right now we show escape.
Right.
Okay. And would that been from Green River, Green River? I'm talking about Bluegrass.
Yeah, it was a halfway house during COVID.
Okay. All right. All right, Mr. Sparks. So I'm not going to go over your charges. The trafficking, everybody here is very familiar with what that is, what you did. The paraphernalia charges and the handgun, very simplistic. You were out on those charges, right, at first? Was that correct?
No, I've never been out on these charges.
Okay. So the pox charge of methamphetamine, when'd you get that?
During the escape.
Okay. Okay. So you were at Green River at the time of the pox charge?
No. Yeah, whenever I took the time, the year ran concurrent with it, I was at Green River, but I got it when I left the Bluegrass Career Development Center.
Okay. So you were given an 18-month deferment and you told to do something, right? What did they tell you to do?
Thinking for good.
And you got that done?
Yes, sir, I do. Along with 4 other classes.
Sure did. Here's the problem. Mr. Sparks. The problem is you're disciplinary.
I understand that.
Significant issues there. And we're gonna start and do these since you saw the board on March 16th of 23, right?
Yes, sir.
They gave you an 18-month deferment.
Yep.
So since then, sir, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 disciplinaries. Let's start out here with the, I'm not gonna do the piercing thing you had going there. I'll just look at the unauthorized use of drug intoxicants. Talk to us about that, man.
Uh, well, man, I've been an addict my whole life, and the environment that I'm in, man, I ain't gonna lie to you, like when it's in my face, it's hard to deny it. You know what I'm saying? So I did it. You know what I mean? I had Suboxone on me, and you know what I mean, it's hard for me to refrain when I'm in an environment where it's around me and everything, man. And it's just hard.
Then you had a situation come up. Uh, looks like in June of just last year. Talk to us about a phone call you made with somebody named Probus.
Yes, sir.
Talk to us about that phone call.
Well, somebody asked me to check and see if they were straight, man. So I did.
What does straight mean?
Well, about 3 years ago, I joined a gang. It was a stupid decision. Man, and I mean, there was somebody at the place where I was at that was asking if he was straight and making sure he didn't have nobody that was trying to get him and stuff. So I called and checked for him, man.
What's the name of the gang?
The Supreme Alliance.
How long you been a member of it?
Going on 3 years.
Okay, so there we go. October of last year. A cell search. And you had something in your mouth. What was that all about?
It was Suboxone.
Okay. So my question to you, Mr. Sparks, how you've gone and taken all these classes, SAP,
Sir.
MRT, SAP, stay and quit, all this stuff.
Yeah.
And your behavior does not change. It does not, you don't apply any of it.
I mean, I do, man. I would like to get out of this environment, man, so I can go and I can be with my kids and be around my mom. Because my mom, she told me I can come stay with her. I'm just trying to get away from all this, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, this environment right here is hard for me to stay out of trouble. And it is with a lot of people. Because of the people that I'm around, and it's hard to get away from everybody in these kind of environments, man.
Well, to some extent, Mr. Parks, although you are incarcerated, and I used to work in the penitentiary, so I get it. You got to go to chow, you got to go to shower, whatever.
Yeah.
But you do get you do get a little bit safe about who you hang around with.
Right, right. And there's extents where I've had clear time, you know what I'm saying? And those extents was the times that I was at a different prison at Green River, I had 10 months clear. And then when I got to the prisons where I'm in a confined space with people and everything's around me and stuff, it's just my mindset, man. It's hard.
Mr. Sparks,
Yeah.
their gang activity?
Yes.
Who forced you to do that?
Nobody forced me to do that. It was a decision that I made when I first got locked up.
Right. So name me one thing. Name me one good thing about a gang.
I mean, there's not a good thing about a gang besides the family orientation, man. That's about it. Everything else is all negative.
What a it looks like I'm looking at your records, and uh it says that in January, I think it's November of last year, they offered you protective custody. What was that all about?
I guess where I was coming out of the hole, from where I got the Suboxone was in my mouth. I think they do that here every time you come out of the hole.
Okay. They did it again back in February. They did it again this month.
Yeah, they put me in the hole for investigation for some stuff that there was a bunch of people crowded up in the hallway that I was living on, and like 8 people went to the hole that day. But we sat in the hole for like 12 days and they let everybody out without a disciplinary report. And that again, I guess I had to sign it to come out of the hole.
So what's your role in the gang, man?
My role?
Mm-hmm.
I've been laying back in the gang. Like literally, if you can look at my record and see I ain't been on bullshit with that. You know what I'm saying? Like I've done told everybody I'm straight. I just want to fall back and do what I gotta do to get home to my kids. And they respect that.
Mr. Sparks, can you
Yes, ma'am.
please refrain from using profanity, sir, in this hearing?
Yes, ma'am. Sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Ms. Lathan. You got 2 problems.
Yeah.
You got a drug problem, and you got a gang problem.
Yes, sir.
No matter how you try to convince us that that's all done with, it doesn't appear to be that way from what we're looking at that's in front of us. You're self-admitted you're in a gang. We know you just don't just get out of gang. That ain't how it works. That's why I asked you about the PC.
Yeah.
They offered you PC because of that. I mean, I don't know. Most gangs, there's a price to pay to get out of a gang.
Yes, absolutely. I understand that.
Yeah. You're still using drugs, Suboxone. It doesn't look like it doesn't seem like it's registering with you that you have to get a hold of your drug issues and be compliant. You've got 9 disciplinary since the last hearing. That's not a glowing report.
I understand that.
What can we do for you to help you get there?
Honestly, I don't know, man. I've did all these classes in here, and these classes in here don't really help nobody.
That's not true.
They give you a book and tell you to do the work in it, and they don't teach you nothing. They don't try to help you.
Mr. Sparks, that is not accurate. It
All
might not
right.
work for you. It might not work for you, but we've seen where these programs have worked for people, and we've got testimonies from people that say that they are good. They're good courses and good programs, and they got help by it. But it's like anything, man. You can go to school, go to this class, but if you don't put it into practice, it don't work. It's just something on paper. So I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that part about the programs don't work.
All right.
Well, they don't work for everybody, but like if you're not trying to apply them, yeah, of course it's not gonna work. It's just something on paper. Your criminal history, man, is it's indicative of what you're doing now. It's just a lot of possession, and you got the trafficking stuff going on. Yeah, a lot of possession. So what's your plan? If we parole you, what's your plan?
Plan to go to my mom's and get my life together and spend my time with my kids while I ain't been there their whole life, man. I'm trying to be there while they grow up the rest. My little girl just turned 13 in January. And my other little girl, she just turned 8. And man, I'm tired of missing, man. I've been locked up almost my whole life, man. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life. And I still continue to make mistakes, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I understand that. But I've never been able to go to the environment that I needed. Like my mom's house is drug free. She's sober. She doesn't do drugs. She don't smoke cigarettes. Her husband's the same way. They go to church, and that's the type of life I'm trying to get out and live, man. I'm trying to leave all this behind me. I'm sick of this, man. I really am. I know it's hard for you to understand that because I'm in here and continue to do those things, but I'm trying to get a chance to show y'all that I can do it, man. I want to show myself that I can do it. And I just want to show my kids and my mom that I can be a better father and a son to them, man. This is getting old.
I want to believe you, man. I want to believe you. And, you know, but like I said, the evidence, you know, and you look great, man. When I saw your programming, I was like, this guy's hitting it. And then I looked at the disciplinaries and it just tainted everything.
I understand
all the
that.
work that you've done.
I do. I understand.
So that's in Ohio County, where you're talking about paroling back to?
Yes, sir.
How you gonna support
It's
yourself, man?
actually, it's in Centertown.
Okay.
And my little sister, she lives in Beaver Dam, and she's gonna get me a job working at Tyson, which is the little chicken factory there, until I can get on my feet. And also my mom, she has her own business. She runs a restaurant there. It's called The Wagon Wheel. And she also has a painting business, and she's gonna give me little side jobs and stuff so I can get back on my feet. Just little things that I've never really had in life. I ain't never had nobody try to help me. My mom's always been against me from where I've been doing drugs and selling drugs and stuff. And but she told me this time, if I stay straight, she'll help me out as much as she can. She let me come live with her and everything. But that's just her stipulations, is to stay away from everything. I got to get rid of all my old friends. I can't go back to Owensboro or none of that. Like that, those are her rules. And I want to abide by those. I really want to change my life, man. I mean, I understand it's hard for you to believe me. You know what I'm saying? Due to my life being full of negativity and drugs and full of lies and being dishonest and everything, I understand that. But I'm being honest with you, man. I'm ready to change. I just want to get the chance to do that.
Okay, so talk to us. You know, I'm gonna go right. I'm gonna kind of back up a little bit.
Okay.
So you took SAP.
Yes, sir.
What did you learn from SAP?
I learned that I've never really been honest with myself, man, that I've been sitting around and doing all these drugs and stuff to try to cope with the things that's happened in life. Like when I was younger, my mom and my real dad divorcing, me seeing some things that I shouldn't have seen, like my dad beating my mom up. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
Like,
but tell us what did you learn from SAP? Give us some of the takeaways, man. What did you learn?
I learned that I got to change all the people, places, and things that I've been around to get away from the drugs. Like I gotta change, like literally my location and everything. Like, and I gotta keep continuing to work at it. NA, AA, Celebrate Recovery, everything that you know what I'm saying, like need to do to help myself is in the sober living environment. You know what I'm saying? Like I literally need to go and put myself in a positions where I don't have to be around things like that. Like I need to go to work so I don't have no free time, man, so I can keep my mind occupied and so that I'm not sitting steadily thinking about doing drugs, man. And oh, like, okay, I go here and I don't have a job right off hand, so I jump to, oh, I'm gonna go get this dope real quick so I can sell it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta refrain from doing all that. So I gotta get a job to help myself. Like I gotta quit lying to myself and saying, oh, it's gonna be okay. You know what I mean? Like I know myself, like what I put myself around is what I'm gonna continue to do. And I know that because of the mind frame that I've always had. And I've worked a lot of changing that, man. I promise you I have. And it's hard to believe me. I get that, but I can only be honest with you and tell you what's in my mind. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't do nothing but show you.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to do that.
Yeah,
If you'll
I'm not
give me
trying to
the
make you feel
chance.
bad. I'm not trying to make you feel bad, sir, through the interview. I'm just kind of being honest with you. You know,
I
'cause
understand.
when I look at what's in front of me, the disciplinaries, which that's an indicator of behavior.
Right. I
You know,
understand that.
so you know, when I'm interviewing you or when I'm looking at you know your information, that it sticks out.
Right. I
So,
understand that.
all right, Mr. Sparks. Well, I don't have any more questions for you. Let me see if my colleagues have any questions for you. Ms. Lathan.
Morning, sir.
Hey, good morning.
Let's talk about how you got where you are. So I've been looking back over your record, and it seems like you had a pretty rough start in life. You have a juvenile record, and
man.
Tell us a little bit about what was going on with Mr. Sparks when you were growing up.
Well, I was raised in Mississippi in Gulfport. I had a real good childhood at first, and then Hurricane Katrina came and literally took my house out. So we moved to Kentucky. My mom and dad separated. My dad beat my mom up real bad and put her in the hospital. I got to where I was just like, I didn't even care anymore. This things was going bad and downhill. So I started running away. You know, I started smoking weed. I started smoking cigarettes. And I just kept going downhill and gradually, like I dropped out of school. I got my GED at 16. Uh, and I had my first kid whenever I was almost 18 years old. And it's been a lot. It's been hectic. And then I
Oh,
started,
you've had a lot of things, events in your life
yes, ma'am.
that have happened that the impact has been that led you where you are today, correct?
Um,
You
well, the
not knowing
decision,
how to deal with what was going on in your life.
I mean, I don't want to say that because the decisions was always mine.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm the one that made the decisions to where I'm at. But I'd say trying to cope with everything, yeah, I did go and I tried to cover everything up and trying to get rid of all the pain and just things that I went through. But no, the decision was mine.
Okay.
Like I take full responsibility in all the decisions I've made. But trying to live and make a living, like I've always been to where I'm like, man, I just don't get it. Like I give up and I go back to selling drugs and it never worked out for me. And I don't know, I'm over this.
Okay, so let's talk about the MRT program because in MRT they do goal setting and you do reasonable and obtainable goals. So your problem in the past has been not having a really, really good plan.
Yeah.
And I would hate to think that you sit there and you've done all these programs. You've done some really good programs and that you haven't gained anything from them. I don't believe that.
Yes.
Tell us if you're granted parole, what does your first week look like when you get out? What are your goals and what are you going to do?
Um, Honestly, the first day I want to go see my little girls. Um, and then I'm gonna go get my social security card, and then I'm gonna go get my license, and then I'm gonna file for some jobs, go put in some applications for some jobs. I'm gonna start off by going to see the pro board or the parole office to check in the parole office and see what all I gotta do. Um, and then I plan on getting my child support caught up, uh, get me a car, eventually get me an apartment. I'm gonna probably go to NA and AA. I know I got a few friends that are actually in NA and AA. Actually, one of my real good friends, she runs a sober living house in Owensboro, and she asked me if I would like to come to some of their little meetings and stuff. So I told her, of course. Um, I'm I really
Okay, you did real good. So you named, let me tell you what you told us that you were going to do, that you were going to get out, you were going to go get your social security card and all that straightened out. That's going to be one of the key things that you need to obtain employment, that you were going to go contact your parole officer. You want to see your children and you want to make sure that, you have some things straight. You mentioned the sponsor. See, you have learned something.
yes, ma'am.
You really have. So the other thing that I want to talk to you about is it's not just about the information that we gain, it's about what we do with it and how you plan on utilizing it in the future because the board wants to see you go home, but we don't want to just see you go home. We want you to stay at home.
Right.
What do you believe your parole officer's role is in the community?
to keep everybody safe and to make the decision that if I was to go out and start doing the same things that I was supposed to do to get me back off the streets to where the community is safe.
Well, the other thing that your parole officer has are lots of valuable resources in the community.
Yeah. Like
And
classes and
yes, and if you see yourself going down the wrong path, that's the person that you need to say, "Hey, look, I'm struggling and I need a little help. And
right.
can you help me get back on track?"
Yeah, I heard they can also help you get jobs and ways to get like money to get grants for like going back to school and stuff like that too. Like that's something else that I would like to do. I'd like to go back and get my degree in college or something. For real, I ain't gonna lie. I started going to get my auto mechanics license and I ended up dropping out at about 7 months into it. So
All
I'd like
right.
to get back into that.
Well, Mr. Sparks, I believe that you can do some of these things, and I don't have any other questions for you, sir. Thank you very much for talking with me today.
Thank you.
That's all I have, Mr. James. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lathan. Mr. Deglow,
On mute, sir.
you're on mute, sir.
Thank y'all. Mr. Sparks, I commend you for getting some of these programs done. There's a couple that I'm concerned with. I'm not sure whether you completed or not. There's some information that's in dispute. Have you completed Stay and Quit?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I thought I saw the certificate in there, but then it shows also that at some point they deemed you were incapable, and I didn't understand what that was talking about. So I'm glad you clarified that for me. The other thing I don't know that we've really addressed is your mental health. There's clear indication that there's some things that limit you on making good decisions. What's your diagnosis as far as mental health, sir?
I have anxiety real bad. And sometimes I get depressed. I also have ADHD really bad.
All right. Are you taking any medications? You doing any treatment?
Well, they put me on Prozac, but they took me back off of it because it was making me like groggy and feel real weird. And like then they tried to put me on another medicine and did the same thing. So they told me to just do breathing exercises and like I guess exercise which I do. Actually I do that 5 times a week. But I really I've been all right really for the past few months.
How long have you had some issues with your mental health? Does this go back into childhood?
Yeah.
Okay. If you were to be released, do you think your mental health conditions are cured, or you think it's something that you'll need to continue to
No,
address?
I'd actually like to go get back on my medicine that I was on.
Do you have a plan for that, or are you just going to show up? Have you talked to anybody? Do you know where to go or anything of that nature?
Yeah, I have to go back to River Valley. It's River Valley Behavior Health. I have to go back there and go back to my doctor and have him put me back on medicine.
Do you think being off medication for your mental health is any part of the reason that you continue to have disciplinary issues?
I mean, no, I don't think so. I don't.
All right. Well, I mean, obviously, as Mr. James has already talked about, that's a major concern for us. If you can't follow the rules while you're incarcerated, and I understand you said you want an opportunity to prove yourself,
Yes, sir.
and I appreciate that. I don't think I'd want to be where you are, but at the same time, in order to prove yourself, we've got to look at your current history.
Yes.
It's not reflective of a lot of positive things, except you have done programming, man. Let's let those programs help you make better decisions. And earlier you said something concerning, I believe Miss Lathan kind of disproved it. I think you told Mr. James they're not worth much. Those programs aren't worth much. You know what the worth of them is how much you value them and how much your effort is in those programs. So don't overlook them. There can be of great value if you put the effort in. So you've done some good things, Mr. Sparks. There are obviously some concerns, and I appreciate your time today, man. That's all I have, Mr. James.
Thank you, Mr. Deglow. Okay, Mr. Sparks, that will conclude the interview portion of your hearing. But before we break for deliberation, sir, is there anything you'd like to share with the parole board?
Man, I just want to ask y'all to please give me the chance to go out here and show y'all that I can do this, man, and that I can put everything that I have learned to good use. I want to go home to my kids, man. I've been locked up my whole life and I've made some bad decisions, and I'd like to fix that and to mend my relationships back with my family, man. I know it's hard to believe that, man, but please see it in y'all's hearts to give me that chance, man, so I can show y'all. I really just to show myself that I can do it.
All right, thank you, Mr. I'm sorry, go ahead, sir, finish. Go ahead and finish. Go ahead and finish.
And the fact that, man, I don't even know, man. I'm nervous. I'm anxious. I'm going through it right now. I'm ready to go home, man. Ready to go see my mama. That's all I got, man.
All right, thank you, Mr. Sparks. Remain seated there. We're gonna go to our breakout room and we'll be back with you momentarily, okay?
Okay.
Recording stopped. Recording in progress.
We're back on the record with Mr. Thomas Sparks, 269-827. Mr. Sparks, can you still see and hear us?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Sparks, so after some significant discussion about your case, based on the information that we had to review, and then more importantly, based on our interview with you, due to the seriousness of your crime, sir, your history of violating your prior felonies, prior misdemeanors, your juvenile record, your crime involved a firearm, deadly weapon, your post-institutional behavior, your history of drugs and alcohol, your history of violating probation, and pretrial. We will going to defer you, sir. Doing your deferment, sir, we want you to do all of anything that's recommended by the Kentucky Department of Corrections. And then more specifically, we want you to enroll in complete MRT trauma. And we want you to maintain clear conduct. Now, we're going to defer you, sir. We could have gave you 60 months on this one. But we believe you can do it. You just got to just really bear down and get it done. Your deferment is going to be for 9 months.
Thank you.
Have that program done and no disciplinaries from this point forward.
Okay.
And the board will view you in a more favorable light, okay?
Okay.
All right. Good luck to you, Mr. Sparks.
Thank
Love
you.
Mr.
Good
Sparks.
luck, Mr. Sparks. You can do
Thank
it.
you.
You can
I
do
know
9 months. Okay.
I know I can.
All
Thank
right,
you.
get it done.
All right. Thank you.
Recording stopped.